Hello everyone and welcome back to the world of Vampire. We have our only friend in the world here watching over us as we sleep. And speaking of having just slept, the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning, one of the first things you do, I don't know, maybe you have a coffee, maybe you have a shower, and then you usually get something to eat. So, who do we have that looks most delicious? First person we come across who is even remotely edible, she does have a headache, so, maybe we're doing her a favor.
Don't worry, sir. I'll be back in a few minutes. Call me if you need me, okay?
Who's that? Who said that? Wasn't her.
I wish I could be sick again. I feel my blood boil with the feet.
I'll help you out.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you doing?
Not well. Eternity can be such a burden. Did you know that Thomas is dead?
Mr. Elwood? Yes, I know about his death.
His blood now runs through this dick.
We've heard that before, haven't we? Come with me. So I do believe this will be the last episode of Vampire for this season, I guess. Although, this week, I mean, if we come back to the game at some point, which I'm hoping we will, it'll be the same season.
Beware, child of the night, for I shall come back and have my vengeance.
Okay, so now we're feeling a little bit better. Just a little bit. This is looking rather empty, isn't it? Everyone here is too high level. So Jonathan is well and truly embracing his... Well, he's been embracing his dark side for a little while now. Now this is a point that I've
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Didn't want to talk to her.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
This is a point that I've sort of made once before.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
You know, the game obviously could have been...
Your mother won't let you down, Mortimer. Don't you share her hope for a better future?
No. I don't.
Won't you even try?
Do you want me to promise you I'll get better? Do you want me to tell her the same thing? I could, but it would not change anything.
He's so sad, isn't he? So sad. Now, being able to mesmerize him like this, it's not exactly subtle. In front of his mum is a thing, isn't it? And obviously in a game that was developed to the point of like realism, which I know this isn't, and I've made that point before. It is kind of its own monster, so to speak. It would just be an interesting mechanic if you couldn't, if you had to isolate these people, as you would do in real life, I guess, unless you mesmerized everyone. If you had to isolate the person or catch them at a certain time.
I don't feel the peace I was looking for. Mother, were you right all along?
Honestly, I feel like it's...
I'm so sorry.
It's more of a temptation for me.
Sorry.
Me personally...
I'm sorry you ended up on my plain and cold medical bench, sir. I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
It's locked.
talking to the dead. It's more intriguing for me personally to hear those last comments, those departing comments, as opposed to like finding out, you know, for a lot of them. Of course, I'm interested in a lot of the lore too, but if I had to choose between finding out their story versus hearing everybody's last comment, I think I would choose to hear everybody's last comment. Alright, we're on a roll, guys. We're on a roll. This is definitely the last...
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
This is the bonus.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Yeah, lots. We're on a roll. And because it's the last episode of the week, I feel like now is the time to, you know, to really put on the squeeze. Plus, I'm very curious to see exactly what happens when you kind of go on a bit of a rampage. And we're on our way now to the West End as well after this. So, I got a bit stuck trying to get there. But I'll go and have another look around. Surely now this sends this district into chaos. Like into hostile. Is anybody even hostile yet? I don't quite think we got anybody below 50%. Which makes me curious. Again, what happens?
I'm sorry, Nurse Brannigan. I won't witness the great doctor you were destined to be.
So now we're up to 4,000 XP, which is a little bit of a bonus, isn't it? Alright, so we have to get to Lady Ashbury. Let's try again to go across this way. I feel like maybe I've done this, but I don't know, maybe I haven't. Is this area blocked here? I can't remember, so I've been told to kind of also look for like alternate ways in, you know, like across the rooftops and stuff like that. Sorry, I just immediately lost my sense of direction. So yeah, I've been encouraged to look for alternate ways as well. If I can't get through the road, maybe look around for a place to kind of teleport to.
There's one of them! Watch yourselves!
Since it's the last episode, let's see if we can... Are there any settings to remove... Here we go. Is that the whole HUD though? I literally left the one thing I was actually trying to get rid of, the enemy health bars. Could do with a few more options like that, couldn't it, I suppose? Maybe I didn't try this way. Or maybe I did. Yeah, I definitely did, didn't I? But it could be, is there any way to jump to here? Doesn't look like it. Let's try up. This way kind of looks like a dead end, but there might be somewhere to jump up. on, man, get out of there. Definitely feel like they get a bit tougher, which is good. Either that or I'm still waking up. Just get rid of him. Just get rid of him. Alright, so gotta be somewhere to jump. I feel like I should be able to jump up here. Good, alright. This looks like it could be the way. Oh, maybe not. Damn. Okay, wait. Yeah, I think we got it. I hope. Yes. Okay, looks like we made it through. Sweet. Oh, what?
I cannot enter.
How am I supposed to get to this mansion? Maybe there? I don't really know any other ways to go except going all the way around there. I don't really want to go that way because I feel like it's just... I'm pretty sure I did that yesterday. Anyway. I wonder if I should go there. If there's a way to get across that way. I feel like that would be the more logical way to go. Alright, we'll give it a try. Definitely no way to... Oh my god, you gotta be joking. I'm so glad I tried that. Alright. My error. Okay, so we're through. That was literally the very first place I went to, wasn't it? Ooh, what do we got here? Blood Echo. Are these enemies to me, or...? Interesting. Yeah, he's not my friend. Okay. Yummy. Good trigger part. So this looks like, you know, we're in the area now where we start getting a little bit of the better gear. It's one of the reasons I really wanted to push like for one more episode today, because I feel like this area now we're into is basically where I want to be, and has most likely a lot of the answers and just lore and storyline and characters that I feel are the kind of characters I would want to explore.
So this is where she lives.
In a vampire game.
What a splendid house.
see how we go, shall we?
Dr. Reed, welcome. How are you?
As good as one can be, considering the circumstances.
Yes. Death and affliction seem prevailing themes of late. Please, come in. We have much to discuss.
I hope I haven't disturbed you.
Not at all. Actually, I was counting on you visiting me tonight.
How strange, this painting. Beautiful, melancholic, yet with a haunting dignity.
Indeed. A long time ago, a friend asked me to paint this for him. But I kept it in the end.
I did not know you were a painter, my lady.
There are many things you do not know about me, young Ekon.
Please, call me Jonathan.
Please excuse my behavior, Jonathan. I tend to tease my friends when uneasy.
What is bothering you, my lady? Your letter was quite alarming.
We will talk about this in a few minutes. For now, I would like you to tell me about yourself. How have you been since we last met, my friend?
Fine, been real good.
I came to the conclusion that my maker, whoever he might be, must be a powerful vampire. Certainly extremely old.
How have you reached this conclusion?
I felt this power, radiating like an aura every time he appeared.
Most ancestral vampires of England were killed by the Guard of Priwen half a century ago. I wonder who your maker could be.
You have no idea who he could be?
Some of the ancient ones fled England. Some may still be in hiding. All I know is you, my friend, are a pawn in some secret and obscure game of chess.
He is the only immortal I've seen appear in an ethereal form. His voice, his words seemed ancient. It was disturbing.
I am afraid you are right. The simple fact that your blood made Mary such a strong Ekon proves that you must be of ancient lineage.
My sister Mary, she was made a vampire in the same way I was. She was the one killing all those people everywhere I went.
Vengeance is a powerful force for those betrayed. Made vampire through careless error. Victims by surprise.
I swear I did not intend that. If only I had known then how vampires are created.
That is the scientist speaking. In truth, most of us do not know how it really works. Personally, I make sure my prey will not return to haunt me.
What do you mean?
I am merciless, Jonathan. I only feed on the dying, and I make sure they are dead before leaving their remains.
I wouldn't necessarily call that merciless. Well, they're already on the way out. You're kind of helping them, aren't you, at the end of the day?
In the end, she implored me to put an end to her misery. But still, I felt I had taken her life twice.
I am so sorry for my accidental cruelty. Had I known your dear Mary was still alive, I would never have sent you to pray for her soul in that church.
There is no need to apologize, my lady. Your words have been most helpful in these difficult times.
Thank you, my friend. If only we could have guided your poor sister through her terrible nightmare.
I think I should ask the questions, your ladyship. After all, it was you who invited me to settle this most urgent of matters.
Fair enough, Jonathan. The situation is critical. We do not have the luxury for etiquette.
Please do not misunderstand me. I would be delighted to discuss mundane matters and idle trivialities.
If we survive the dark nights to come, we shall have all the time in the world to speak, you and I. For now, please follow me, Jonathan.
I must say, your house is exquisite.
One of the advantages of living forever is having the time to be selective with one's furnishings. I took the liberty of having tea served.
You can still drink tea.
Can't keep it down, but I do so enjoy the aroma. Let us toast to make-believe. And of course, to your health, Jonathan.
And to yours, my lady.
That would be torturous, wouldn't it?
Please, call me Elizabeth.
So, my lady, why truly did you invite me here?
I've been asked to deliver an official invitation to meet the Ascalon Club.
Ooh.
Who are they? Really?
They are the embodiment of vampire law in Britain. Some say they influence the destiny of the Empire. Some believe they merely protect it.
I think there's no way they wouldn't. You know, in real life, if you think about it, like, there's no way they wouldn't. You know, if they've been around for that long, they outlive every single human being. They have all the time in the world to infiltrate and scheme and plan and to infiltrate different organizations. There's no way that if there's anything like this for real, if there's anything along the lines of immortality and just whatever, you know, this sort of thing, there's no way it's not them who are in charge. There's just no way. There's no way humans could keep up with that, with our limited perspective and our limited lifespan and our limited capability. There's no way we'd be able to keep up with them. It's just not logical. So if there's anything even remotely like this in real life, then you can guarantee it's those. It's those beings who are running the show on this planet.
How many are they?
Only a small number of powerful and deceitful immortals. All of them entangled in a sticky web of shadow cabinets, influencing trade.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think a lot of that would come down to entertainment, wouldn't it? You got to do something if you're going to live forever. Play the game, man, you know?
Will they fight the guard of Priwen?
I doubt it. Fergal was Lord Redgrave's executioner forever and a day. By defeating that beast, you deprived them of a powerful weapon.
And I bet most likely there'd be a subset of them, like a small number of them who just weren't interested. Maybe they had more of an affinity towards nature and kind of staying out of the way of these crazy human monkeys with their insanity. Sort of living in isolation, out of the way, where you know, they hardly ever came into contact with beings until they needed to for some sort of essential reason.
Should I trust them?
Of course not. Do not misunderstand me. They can be very useful, but I believe their long-term goals differ from yours.
In what way?
Why meet them then?
Because nothing truly important can be achieved in this city without their consent. They could be powerful allies in this current situation.
Imagine a game where you could do that. You know, just have the absolute freedom to be engaged or not. Maybe to head out into the wilderness in a kind of survival type situation and try to survive as a vampire that didn't feed off people or didn't have anything to do with people, and then have the option also to...
Should I lie to them?
We all lie, Jonathan. It falls to you to choose your behavior. The most important rule is to show them due respect.
Yeah, I still imagine a game where you just had that sort of high level of freedom, you know? It'd be so cool. Okay.
Why use you to contact me?
Because they know we are close. The Ascalon Club has many spies. Their main occupation is gathering information and then deciding how to use it.
Why not ask for your help, since you are obviously a powerful and influential immortal yourself?
You have to understand that I am invisible to the eyes of Ascalon, for I am a woman.
Interesting.
That suits me well. as long as they leave me alone.
Oh, is it male vampires only, is it?
Have they threatened you in any way?
Not at all. Their message surprised me at first, but it is only logical, considering the critical situation in London.
They have done nothing but impede my investigation since I became known to them. Why would they want to see me now?
I guess they now see you as Ascalon material. They must have found out what happened to your sister.
Cool.
Proof of the potent blood flowing through your veins.
I'm not sure I can accept their invitation.
Of course you can.
I have seen their handiwork.
Not as good as
How
yours.
Fergal the Beast imposed the club's law.
You have no choice, Jonathan. Even I would not openly defy Lord Redgrave, the chairman of the Ascalon Club.
This is what you've got to understand, right? You might have your own ego, like, and think you're it. Now you know you've become a vampire. You've got all this power. You are your own being. You know, you have now authority practically over every human on the planet. But there are other vampires who've been doing this a lot longer than you, who essentially have a greater right to the territory. They have greater power than you, have greater influence. They are essentially your ancestors. They were here before you, and there is a natural order to the process, you know, so it's wise, obviously, clearly, it's wise at that point. You would be a wise vampire to submit. You might not like them, you might not like their way of doing things, but, you know, if you want to play the game has rules at the end of the day, and I guess, you know, maybe with a high level of strategic sort of thought over the course of maybe a few centuries, or at the very least a few decades, a good number of decades, you could subvert it, you could redirect it. But that's the game at the end of the day, and of course they're going to know that that's a potential. They're older than you, they're smarter than you, I guess. Anyway, they're more experienced than you. They know the game. They've been playing it longer than you have. So I don't know. It's kind of amusing to me that he still thinks he can. Jonathan here still thinks that he can play the game his own way. You know, it's a little bit of his ego still left over, I suppose. He is still a brand new vampire.
How powerful is his reach?
The Ascalon Club may be the most influential secret society in England. Not all its members are immortals, but they are all very powerful.
They are not all immortals. How is that?
The club is mainly comprised of political figures who seek the safety and expansion of the Empire. The most loyal are awarded immortality.
Any familiar or famous names?
As the richest, most relentless British tycoon, Aloysius Dawson is considered ideal Ascalon material and has been watched for years.
What can you tell me about Lord Redgrave? Who is he?
Lord Redgrave is the founder and chairman of the Ascalon Club. Most mortals know him as the Earl of Bristol. He is rich and extremely influential.
Have you met him?
Only on rare occasions, for he never goes outside the club. And women are not awarded membership.
That's interesting.
Even immortals.
Isn't that interesting?
How old is he? How long has he been a vampire?
Lord Redgrave claims to be the progeny of William Marshall, the most valiant knight who ever lived. If that is true, he could be very old.
If you are convinced I must meet him, I will heed your advice.
Thank you, Jonathan. I understand your reluctance to brush shoulders with London's vampire elite, but we have no choice.
Is the situation that critical?
Yes. The Guard of Prewen has called for a second great hunt of our kind, and they will stop at nothing to eliminate us.
Like, just briefly, you know, you could, it wouldn't be a super far, and this is a far stretch of the imagination, but, you know, if this was a kind of reality, or there is some sort of supernatural consciousness behind our own human existence at the moment on the planet, Like, if that's the case, it wouldn't be a far stretch of the imagination to wonder, like, what's going on at the moment in the world economy. You know, for us as kind of mere mortals, we wouldn't know a thing really about what's occurring at the higher levels of the economy and society and governance. So, you know, you could only wonder what's going on really, what they're up to at the higher levels, you know, what kind of games they're playing that's having this knock-on effect on us, what kind of games they're playing with us at the end of the day. I kind of want to move along with it, but I'll find out.
Will the Guard of Priwen and the Ascalon Club fight each other?
I doubt it. If Priwen really launched a great hunt, I think most of the Ekons I know would flee the country to escape the bloodbath.
I guess that's the point, isn't it? There's more humans too, so although they have the advantage in many ways, they don't have the numbers that the human beings do. And human fear and ignorance, as we've seen repeatedly in our history, it's a very, very destructive tool, powerful and destructive.
Should we fight back? I will not be hunted down like an animal again.
I admire your courage, Jonathan. But the best way to fight them is to put an end to the epidemic. This is the only way to clear the air.
Kind of doesn't really make sense, that, if you think about it. Maybe it does, something I'm missing, but allow the epidemic to run rampant. Surely that's... I guess it's the food source of the vampires too, though, so they kind of need to... I guess you need to manage your food source, don't you? You don't want all your crops to die.
I think I saw them kill an Ekon on the way to your house. They seem to have a list with names.
To launch another great hunt, they must have collected intelligence on vampire identities and whereabouts. They are a resourceful lot.
What is a great hunt?
The first great hunt was launched about 75 years ago. In just a few nights, the Guard of Priwen located and destroyed most of the old British vampires.
Why start a second one?
Priwen has always seen us immortals as a threat to mankind. My guess is they suspect one or more of us is the cause of the epidemic.
How did you survive the first hunt?
I fled, Jonathan. Like most vampires who survived that slaughter. And I secretly came back when I was sure they had lost my trail.
You should flee then. Leave London, the country even. I have seen the Guard in action. They are merciless.
Your concern warms my heart, Jonathan. But fear not. If the situation gets too dangerous, I shall retreat to my secret Scottish manor. I could hide you in my luggage, if you wish.
Thank you for the offer. I shall keep it in mind, but I have much to do here. There is a question I must ask you. Could Lord Redgrave be my maker?
I doubt it. If Lord Redgrave had made you his progeny, he would not have seemed so surprised when you demonstrated the strength of your lineage.
Interesting, isn't it?
One day soon, I will have to find the answer to this mystery.
And I shall help you in your research, I promise. For now, you must go to the Ascalon Club and play their game.
Will I see you again at the Pembroke Hospital?
No, you will find me here if you need me. I shall conduct inquiries alone, and we can then share our discoveries.
I want to thank you for all your support and your help, my lady.
Could you do me a last great favor and call me Elizabeth?
I should be honored, my lady.
Then it is settled. Finally, some good news in these dark hours.
Thank you. I appreciate the advice. I had best prepare myself to meet this Lord Redgrave now.
How thrilling to meet the Earl of Bristol in the flesh, so to speak.
Something tells me you're not very keen on the man.
Don't get me wrong. The gentlemen of the Ascalon Club are honorable, but their attitude and opinions are somewhat antiquated.
I see.
Aren't they always?
As long as they deny access to female applicants, I will leave them to their antediluvian considerations as to the natural order of things. Jonathan, promise me you'll be careful.
Of course. But why the fear in your voice?
Look at me, Jonathan.
I am.
I mean, really look at me, young Ekon. We may be deceptive by nature, but this heart of mine has always told the truth.
Oh. Elizabeth.
Go, my friend. But come back to me soon.
Yeah, this you know, this idea that they have sort of outdated or antiquated views. It's this funny, I don't know, I have this kind of funny sort of dual mind on the modern world, you know, like part of me, I definitely think I'm a little bit old-fashioned in a lot of my
time to visit the Ascalon Club.
I guess you could say views, if you want to call them that. And at the same time, I think there are many great elements to modern life and the modern world. I just think, you know, it's also the case that the modern world has its ignorance, you know, of certain ancient truths and ancient principles. Yeah, it's a difficult one. I'm definitely not like, I don't even really know how to put it. I guess I could just say there are definitely elements that I like about old-fashioned and more traditional values and outlooks on life and experiences. But at the same time, there's a lot about there's a lot about the old-fashioned ways in the old-fashioned world that I obviously don't agree with and don't subscribe to and would oppose. But at the same time, I feel the same way about the modern world in many ways. So it's a tricky one to navigate sometimes.
Watch out, boys!
So where are we going exactly? Oh, I'm going the wrong way, am I? I think I have to go down this way then, don't I? It looks like it's a case of going down the docks. What's going on here? Oh, new dialogue. Okay, well, we just came from there. Let's try and have a little look up here. Just see whether or not we can get through. If not, I feel like we might have to go around the docks. Unless I can get over somehow. Ah, it's all going on, isn't it? Is there something invisible down there? Did you see that? I don't know whether that was a graphical glitch because of that jet flame or whatever it was he was using. Why can't I run?
That was the vampire I saw earlier. This war takes no prisoners.
Oh, okay. Can't seem to get across here. Okay, looks like we might have found it.
The West End. Never have I felt so sad to be back home.
Dead inside. Isn't that a band? Is that a band or a group or something like that? Dead inside? I don't know why. It sounds familiar to me. So we've got to go around. They're getting tougher, aren't they? Ready to evolve. Okay, so we can finally have a look at this. Now we are in... Oh, okay, well, we still have basically the same info. And just while we're here, everything... Nothing is... Yeah, so there's 2 at 50. Nowhere is actually hostile yet. I imagine the hospital... Which is... Ooh. Okay, they're fine. They're alright. So they can still afford to lose. Wow, we've really taken out a lot of them, haven't we? It's not that many left.
The Ascalon Club. The heart of British vampire society. Not quite as subtle as I expected.
Ooh, a whole new menu. It's like going to a totally different restaurant, isn't it? Things you've never tried before. Little morsels. I imagine a lot of them are high level, as you would expect in this zone. Here we go.
Do you know where you are standing right now?
In front of the Ascalon Club, I presume.
The Ascalon Club only summons or ostracizes. What is your business tonight?
I received an invitation. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Welcome to the Ascalon Club, then, Dr. Reed. Please proceed. Lord Redgrave is waiting on you upstairs.
There has been
Leftovers.
quite a battle here. I'm sure the Ascalon Club has the money to replace the furniture.
Be surprised if they didn't. This carpet alone would be more expensive than a lot of people's cars. Good dagger. Strong but small knife, mainly used to pierce and rip open the opponent. 10 blood absorption, 18 stun. I see. Hey, well, that's not bad, is it? That's not bad. But we've leveled up our bite ability a lot. So we won't have much to stun them aside from the gun if we do that, if we use that. Can you respec? Is that a thing? I can't quite remember if it is. Oh, I have to go to bed, don't I, to do all that stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure whether or not you can respec your characters. Like remove all of the points that you've invested into a skill or not.
It's locked, all right.
Okay, where am I going? That marker's confusing me a bit. Supposed to go this way, was I? No? Thought I was going the right way. Oh, damn. Have I just gone outside again? I guess a moment like this would be kind of critical, wouldn't it? You know, you're like... The way that you present yourself in a situation like this would really kind of sow the seeds of your life as a vampire. You know, if you give off a certain impression here that... Did I just go out the front door again? Yeah, so... yeah, the way that you present yourself in a situation like this would greatly impact how your life was going to unfold. Or your death. Okay, obviously I went the wrong way. Have a little look around, see what sort of loot we can get. Then again, we don't have much time left actually, so let's carry on. We can get to that stuff later.
Good evening. We repel the intruders for now.
My good friends, if I may have your attention. Behold our visitor, the good Dr. Reed. Newborn of blood so pure and strong that even my friend Fergal Bansher was no match for him.
Here, here.
Come forward, young Ekon, for we have so much to discuss. Welcome to the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. I am Lord Redgrave, Earl of Bristol and chairman of this exclusive association.
Lord Redgrave.
At last we meet. I've been eager to make your acquaintance. I've heard some astounding things about you. Please accept my condolences for your loss, Dr. Reed.
Thank you, my lord. Lady Ashbury expressed your wish to meet me.
Yes. The lady has always been a useful acquaintance, though not always reliable. Is she a good friend of yours?
She has proved to be helpful on many occasions.
The centuries have taught me never to trust a woman completely, especially if she is a mortal. Too prone to emotions, if you ask me. Too fickle when it comes to important decisions.
My lord, do not expect me to speak ill of Lady Ashbury.
Of course not, and I praise your loyalty. Would you offer the same fidelity to the Empire?
What do you mean?
I speak of the Skull Plague that threatens London and the country. You have been on the front line in the East End, but the time has come to open up a second front here.
The epidemic has escaped the quarantine. You have new cases of the outbreak.
We don't know for certain, but we cannot allow the disease to threaten the prominent heads of Great Britain.
I can already sense some difficult choices You know, a situation like this, you're not going to fool anyone. I think absolute sincerity and honesty would be the wisest way to go with your responses. And I think that would be quite a challenging... You know, these guys are obviously a little bit anti-women, and I think you're going to be forced to kind of choose, aren't you, of your individuality versus the group. If you want to become part of the group, you have to subscribe and be prepared to do what the group does and do what it demands of you as well, which would be tough. Anyway, back to where we're at. So the Empire, did he say something about would we be prepared to do something with the Empire?
Why are you suddenly so friendly? The last time I met one of yours, he tried to kill me.
Are you referring to Fergal? He was the most useful of servants, but he was just a servant. You, on the other hand, Doctor, proved yourself much more worthy.
You want me to find possible sources of the outbreak in the West End? Is that it?
Ah, straight to the point, like all eager newborns. We shall have time to talk about all this, Dr. Reed, but first, I should like to get to know you better.
Talk? Is that the only reason you asked me here?
Well, no. I also wanted to meet the intriguing Ekon, who made such a powerful progeny of his sister. You have not learned the name of your maker, am I correct?
I can already sense in him he's he's weighing up how much of a threat we are to his establishment and to his order. And he's also, I guess, at the same time weighing up how useful we could be to him, his establishment, his order, the order of things. It really is a game of chess, isn't it? God, when I keep doing that, I keep forgetting what question he asked. Oh, do we know who our maker is yet?
No, I haven't.
Have no embarrassment, Dr. Reed. We all make mistakes. But whatever your lineage, you are definitely Ascalon material.
What do you mean?
I would like you to become a member of the Ascalon Club, and to serve me as such.
Before I accept, I have so many questions.
Please ask.
What is the Ascalon Club's express purpose?
We follow the credo of William Marshall, the greatest knight who ever lived. As was he, we are sworn to protect the British Empire.
What does Ascalon mean?
Ascalon was the lance wielded by St. George, glorious patron saint of England when he slew the dragon. And like that lance, we pierce the hearts of all our nation's enemies.
William Marshall founded the Ascalon Club.
Not exactly. William Marshall granted me immortality, and I founded the club a few years later. The good knight has been gone for so long.
What does it mean to be a member of the Ascalon Club?
It means that you swear to protect the interests of the crown, that you become a loyal servant of the British Empire.
Do you have any official recognition from the government? A charter from His Majesty the King?
No. Of course, the Ascalon Club publicly supports the Empire, but the true nature of its members remains a secret.
Am I supposed to follow orders?
As founder and chairman of the club, I alone am entitled to make demands of our members, and I do appreciate obedience.
I believe him. At the moment, I think he's being sincere, and I think if we were to prove ourselves to be capable, I do feel like he would uphold his end of the bargain. Why wouldn't he? We're on his side at that point. But I can tell that, when he's talking about basically becoming a servant of the British Empire, serving the crown, etc., etc., you're sacrificing your own autonomy and freedom for the sake of security, financial gain, I guess. I suppose some people would be inclined towards also thinking along the lines of honor. if you feel it honourable to serve your country in that way. It's definitely a trade-off, so to speak. Okay, just give me a second. Got a bee in my room. Okay, he disappeared behind a curtain somewhere. Anyway.
I killed Fergal, who claimed to be one of yours, sent to cleanse the East End of all Skulls. Will his death be an issue?
Do not worry. My priorities have changed. Fergal was a zealous servant of mine, but like any servant, he had his limitations and is readily replaced if necessary.
So it looks like there's no actual... We don't have a choice. We can't choose not to, it looks like.
I agree to join the club.
This is good news.
I
Good
wouldn't-
news indeed in these crucial times.
I wouldn't have chosen...
Let's inform the assembly
I mean-
formally and proceed with your initiation.
I would have
My initiation?
Fear not.
I would have chosen not to, actually.
Nothing fancy nor dangerous. It is just that we, the members of Ascalon, believe that tradition and custom are the backbone of this country. My fellow members, dear friends, please gather and welcome this Ekon as one of our own.
Is he worthy? Is his blood pure?
Well, speak, Dr. Reed, in front of the most sacred blood. The blood of our beloved William Marshall, speak now. Will you serve and protect the crown as he did?
Yes, I will.
Then, young Ekon, it is time to testify with your blood. It is time to sign the Book of Allegiance. I know it's awfully gothic and a tad pedantic, but England's traditions are the backbone of our nation.
Okay. Sorry, but the bee has returned. We're all right. He has been dealt with.
Delightful. Welcome to the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. Take your place among the bearers of the lance.
One of us! One of us!
I personally went patrolling last night.
Level 20.
And I spotted at least 2 foreign Ekons.
So they're all level 6.
Is an outrage.
Except for him.
We shall chase these intruders down.
I was chased by a gigantic Valcod 2 nights ago.
Volcod.
I thought it was Fergal coming back, but no. That creature barely spoke English.
Is a Volcod the name of one of the werewolf sort of things? I haven't actually put that together. It is.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. How does it feel to be this evening's centerpiece? Figuratively.
It's quite unsettling. As a doctor, I am more used to being the observer than the subject observed.
Do not be alarmed. The Ascalon Club has a tried and tested policy for choosing its initiates.
May I ask who you are, sir?
Why would you be interested?
Well, as you seem to be the only man in the room with a beating heart, you draw quite a bit of attention yourself.
Ah, vampire senses never cease to fascinate me. They dwarf those of mere mortals. I am Aloysius Dawson, by the way.
Mr. Dawson, of Dawson and Dawson, the wealthiest man in England. It is a pleasure to meet such a prominent figure of London.
A withering London figurehead, to be precise.
Are you sick, Mr. Dawson? I am a doctor, you know.
My case is beyond the scope of traditional medicine. I have spent fortunes on the world's most competent doctors to arrive at that diagnostic conclusion.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir. Should I suppose that you're here in search of some form of immortality?
Absolutely not. I'm here to implement my plan to save the city I was born in. To cast out the ghastly evil that has us all on our knees.
Money cannot solve every problem. This mysterious epidemic is going to require more than money can buy.
You're right. Money is nothing unless one has the will to wield it. I have a plan, sir. A radical one that will save all that is essential in London.
What is your plan, then?
Quarantine and barricades are futile. What we need is a wall. A formidable, unscalable wall to isolate the deserving from the infected masses.
I'm not quite sure. I mean, I can see the logic behind it's efficient and also behind it's unfair. But how is it dangerous?
By doing so, you would create two separate ghettos. What if the disease gets past the wall? The results would be disastrous.
Locking us
Not if
in.
we eliminate all suspected cases of infection as soon as they appear. A necessary sacrifice.
Are you not mistaking sacrifice for summary execution?
Why do you care? Are you not a vampire? Removed from all mortal concerns? Decisiveness is what the city needs, and it needs it now.
It's not that I have mortal concerns at this point, but it's a case of, you know, how much I want to be subservient and how much I want to subscribe to the new status quo, the vampiric status quo. Now, obviously, we've been, let's say, corridored. I don't know if that's how you say it, railroaded. Anyway, we've been guided into a specific story now. You know, there wasn't actually an option not to. I thought maybe there would be an option to go our own way at this point, but clearly there isn't, which is fine. So that means the story now progresses along the lines of what this Ascalon Club is, and maybe later, actually, now that I say it out loud, most likely later there will be a kind of critical decision, I guess. Probably, possibly, something like deciding whether we do something against Lady Ashbury and keep our commitment to these guys.
We're facing a crisis, but I'm shocked no one took the time to clean up the mess inside the club since we were attacked.
Or,
I must admit the Guard of Prewen impressed me. They must have spent years preparing.
you know, or do we choose to continue to serve the... Anyway, this is just a sort of hypothetical. But, I'm afraid that's going to have to be the final episode in the series. And I feel like, I mean, I probably could continue on for another 20 minutes or so, but I feel like with regards to where we're at, to really get the most of it, I don't want to be trying to squeeze in a little bit more content when, if we were to come back to this at some point in the future with greater time, another week or so, or however many days it might be, I feel like it would be better for us to explore what this world has become now, what our world has become, and what the story becomes, rather than just trying to fit in a lot of info now that I'll have most likely forgotten by the time the next game comes around, the next week or so comes around. So, all in all, it's definitely been an interesting experience. I'm really glad I finally got to play the game. I would love it is a great experience in and of itself, but it has absolutely awoken or reminded me of, you know, I've never really played a vampire game before. Now that I think about it, there probably has been like a couple of games like Skyrim, you know, where you can become a vampire in the game, but it's not a vampire game. I did try to play Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, but couldn't really get into the swing of it at the time. Maybe I could now if I went back to try it again. It's definitely brought to my attention this desire for this game times 5 in terms of capacity, choice, capability, vampire capability, and the world. And it would be great to play a game that had this depth of character development, because that's fascinating to me. You know, we're actually only seeing a little bit in terms of what the game is presenting visually and experientially. In terms of our character in the world, we're only seeing a little bit, maybe 30% of what we're actually experiencing along the lines of the psychology of what we're hearing about, and the stories that we're hearing about, and the tales that we're hearing about, and the emotion that we're kind of being the emotion that's being cultivated within us. So what I'm basically saying is 60% of the story of the experience here is non-physical. It's invisible. It's psychological. It's putting us mentally in the place, not necessarily physically in the character. And that's very interesting. I do like that. I would love that, though, to be kind of combined in with greater freedom and ability as the character. Basically a much more open world with, you know, very, very different and drastic play styles available. And anyway, so that's kind of just what I've been led to through the week. But in terms of an experience as a vampire, it's definitely the best game that I've ever played. It's the best situation that I've ever... I feel like I have played a couple other vampire games, maybe like back on the days when I used to play a lot of console when I was really young, but I can't really remember. Maybe it was like a vampire character in an RPG where you can be a wizard and a sorcerer or something else, you know? Yeah, it's definitely been a positive experience, and I am curious, as much as I would be more curious to explore a different path than these people here, this path. But I'm also curious to know exactly where they do take us and where the story leads, and what. I mean, I imagine there is like a critical, in a game like this, there's probably a very critical...
The rumors of some horned vampire revealing himself and singing obscure songs around the city. What is this new malevolence?
Skulls have been spotted everywhere in London.
So things like that I'm curious about. And, you know, I would like to see, as I was saying, I feel like there's probably some, maybe even one or two very critical choices towards the very, very end of the game as to how the game ends for you. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what that would be. So, I can say this, we will return, I think, to Vampire at some point. I won't play the game again. What I may do is jump in rarely for the odd episode, or it may be like I do with Zombieland Conquest, where I return to the game for a week and see whether or not there's a week of content. If there isn't, then play it for a few days and then move on to something else. But I am definitely curious as to how the story ends, and I think, as far as I know, there are multiple endings too, so it's definitely the sort of thing that could have another playthrough. When that will be, though, I can't really say. Next week we have Mist Survival, so I'll take tomorrow off. We have Mist Survival next week, then after that we have BioShock, and I'm looking forward to getting into a survival game that I've never played Mist Survival, and I haven't played a proper survival game for a long time. So ladies and gentlemen, this has been Vampire. I hope you have enjoyed our journey. And I did think we would get through the whole game. I mean, I remember looking up somewhere in the region of 18 hours, 17 to 18 hours apparently for the main quest. Although, thinking about it now, we're probably about 13 or 14 hours in. So, I think I've probably taken a little bit longer as well, exploring some of the other environments and side quests and stuff. But this has been Vampire. I do hope you enjoyed our experience, and I hope you will join me to play some Myst next week, and keep an eye out for one date when this will return on the channel if you do want to know how it ends, or at least how we progress through it. And of course, you can always play it yourself. The link's in the description if you want to know how to buy it. It's on Steam. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me for this week of Vampire. I do hope I'll see you next week. Goodbye for now.